Elvis lives again. Face screaming in fear. Filipino boy's voice stuns the AGT judges. Golden buzzer moment 2025. The stage lights glowed like stars against the black backdrop of the America's Got Talent theater. The crowd buzzed with restless energy as a small, nervous boy stepped into the spotlight. His name was Miguel Santiago, a 13-year-old from a fishing village in the Philippines, his oversized suit hanging loosely on his thin frame. His hands trembled as he clutched a worn microphone, the same one his late father had used to sing old Elvis Presley songs at the town plaza. The host leaned down with a warm smile. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Miguel," he stuttered softly, his accent thick but his sincerity unmistakable. "I came here, for my papa." The crowd fell silent. The judges, Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Heidi Klum, and Howie Mandel, exchanged curious looks. Simon leaned forward, his trademark intensity softened. "Tell us about your dad," he said gently. Miguel swallowed hard. "My papa loved Elvis." He said Elvis sang with soul, not just from his throat, but from his heart. When he got sick, he couldn't sing anymore. "I told him one day I'd sing for the world, like Elvis did." His eyes shimmered under the stage lights. "So, here I am." Simon nodded slowly, his expression unreadable. "Okay, Miguel. Let's hear what you've got." The backing track started, the unmistakable opening chords of Can't Help Falling in Love. For a brief second, Miguel froze, staring at the massive crowd before him. But then he closed his eyes, took a shaky breath, and began to sing. The first note was soft, fragile, almost too pure for the enormous hall. But as the melody grew, his voice expanded, filling every inch of the space. It wasn't a mere imitation of Elvis, it was something deeper, the soul of the king, reborn in the trembling heart of a Filipino child. The audience leaned in, breathless, as Miguel's voice carried both innocence and the ache of a lifetime. Every lyric dripped with emotion, "Take my hand, take my whole life too," and somewhere in the middle of the song, the camera panned to Simon, whose eyes shimmered with something close to disbelief. By the final chorus, the audience was on their feet. Some were crying, some were cheering, but all were united in awe. And when Miguel finished the last note, holding it like a prayer, the theater erupted. Sophia clutched her heart. Heidi wiped away tears. Even Howie, usually playful, sat in stunned silence. But Simon just sat still, staring at Miguel like he had seen a ghost. Then, without a word, Simon stood up and pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down like a miracle. Miguel gasped, covering his mouth as tears spilled down his cheeks. He looked up, whispering, "Papa. I did it." The stage crew rushed forward, lifting the boy in celebration as the audience chanted his name. In that moment, it wasn't just a talent show, it was the rebirth of a dream, the echo of a love that never died. Backstage, after the show, Miguel sat quietly in a corner, holding the golden confetti in his hand. A producer approached him. "That was incredible, kid. You just made history." But Miguel only smiled and whispered, "I just wanted Papa to hear me one more time." The next morning, the video of his performance exploded across the internet. Millions watched in awe as the world fell in love with "the boy who brought Elvis back." Fans across the globe, from Tennessee to Tokyo, shared the clip, calling it the most emotional AGT moment ever. Comments flooded in, "I felt Elvis in his soul. That kid reminded me why music matters. He made me believe again." But for Miguel, the biggest surprise came a week later. A letter arrived at his hotel, a handwritten note from Priscilla Presley herself. "Dear Miguel," it read, "Elvis believed that music could heal hearts. You proved him right. Thank you for keeping his spirit alive." Tears rolled down his face as he read the final line, "The king would be proud." When Miguel returned home to the Philippines, his whole village gathered at the pier to welcome him. Old men played guitars, children waved handmade banners that said, "Our Star." Miguel stood on the same wooden stage where his father once sang, holding his microphone tight. This time, he sang not to impress, but to give back, dedicating his song to all the parents who sacrificed everything for their children's dreams. The melody rose over the waves, his voice strong and clear, carrying through the warm tropical night. And though his father was gone, Miguel could almost feel his presence, smiling, tapping his foot to the rhythm, proud beyond words. That night, Miguel understood what his father meant when he said that singing with your soul makes people feel again. He realized that talent wasn't just about fame, it was about connection. It was about love, loss, and the courage to share your heart with the world. Years later, when asked in an interview how it felt to bring Elvis back, Miguel simply smiled and said, "I didn't bring him back. I just carried his spirit, and my father's love, in every note." And somewhere, perhaps beyond the stars, a voice as smooth as velvet whispered, "Thank you, kid." Because in that boy's voice, Elvis truly lived again, and so did the reminder that kindness, love, and hope never die.